back. I just wanted to take a brief moment to talk to you guys about leadership and what being a leader is. I think everybody sees that their jobs nowadays, if you got an hourly job or managerial job, you probably work around a terrible leader. Somebody who's anointed in leadership ain't got no leadership skills. Zero. Zilch. Don't know what they're doing. They're always out there trying to demand respect instead of commanding respect. You got to command respect through your actions, through what you do, holding people accountable, holding yourself accountable, making sure you're even keel, making sure that you're fair. That doesn't mean treat everybody the same, but treat them all equally. Be even with all of them. Don't show prejudice. Yes, it's hard. There are going to be some people who piss you off, but you cannot act that out towards them because that usually means you're being petty. That usually means you're making it personal. You can't do that when you're a real leader. Real leaders don't make it personal. Real leaders just step up and get it done. And a lot of these corporations nowadays, they just simply work people to death. They don't have any empathy for the hourly employee. And a lot of these people are working around, they just be confused. They be wondering like, man, I can't believe they called out today. They didn't want to come in. That's all. Is that a good enough excuse? No, it's not. But guess what? What are we going to do about it now? They ain't here. I guess we're going to have to get out the routine and do a little bit more, earn that extra bit of money that we're getting paid. Is it always enough? No, it's not always enough. Sometimes you actually work a good job and you feel like you're earning and getting what you deserve. I ain't seen that yet. Ain't no job paid me my worth yet. There isn't a job that can pay me what I'm worth in an hourly setting or salary setting because I'm always going to outwork it. I'm just going to do that. But some of these people, man, I don't know. It just blows my mind how much like these corporations just don't get it. Leaders in these situations don't understand, and you know why? Because they're manufactured. They're manufactured leaders. You can't make someone a leader. You're either born a leader or you're not, in my opinion. You can give somebody leadership skills. You can, show them the way, show them the road, show them how to conduct themselves in certain situations, how to react. This is how you respond in this. But until they're in the live fire, or if they don't have those personal or those people skills, or they haven't led anything, they don't know what they're doing. Most of the time, they're going to fold whenever they have to actually step up and do something with some merit. They're going to actually have to go document somebody. They actually have to hold them accountable. They won't do it. No spine. You know why? Because they've never been in a situation in their life where they actually had to have one. They were never leaders of any committees, no clubs, didn't play sports, were never a captain, never stepped up in any clutch moments, never rallied the team, never did anything that showed any true leadership. And then there's some people who have leadership moments. They show moments of leadership, but that doesn't mean they're going to be a good leader because they're inconsistent. People who are really good at leading, they lead all the time. They lead all the time. They're just going to step up. That's just what they're going to do. They're always going to find a way to be like, I got this. Let me take charge. Because if I let anybody else take charge, it's going to go to shit and I can't deal with it. I can't handle it. That's why pretty much every job I've been at, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but seriously, I can't work for too many people. Now, obviously, you just have to at some point in time, but usually I'm going to try to get myself into a position where I can have some control over what's going on. At least somewhat over my control or of my situation. So I'm going to try to get into leadership to where I can help probably mitigate some of the damage. Make it a little bit better for the hourly employee. I'm not good for corporate overall. I am an advocate for the hourly employee. I empathize with them too much. They call out, I understand why most of the time. I get it. I was an hourly employee, just like pretty much everybody else that was in management. But guess what? Most of them, they forget. Oh my God. Why'd they call out today? I can't believe it. Well, guess what? They requested off. They weren't coming. Why do people schedule folks on days that they request off? Stop doing that. They're not showing up to work. It's the stupidest thing that you can possibly do is schedule somebody on a day that they have requested off. You know why? Because they usually made plans. Not all people just decide to call out just so they can sit around, smoke weed, get drunk all day. Most of them, like, especially places I go, if a woman calls out, they usually have that plan. Especially if it's a couple days or if they trying to lead. Now, some people, they be petty. Is it always a good reason? No, it's not. It's not always a good reason to even call out. That is irrelevant. But people get so caught up in like, well, it's going to throw me off my routine. I don't give a damn about your routine. And neither do they. And neither does your bosses. Fix it and make it happen. That's the only reason why you're in that position to begin with, to deal with the horse shit. If you don't want to deal with it, then you can't take that salary. Some people don't even have it in them to be kind to folks every day. That's the basic you can do as a leader, is just say hello and be nice and cordial. Don't be a dick for no reason. You do not demand respect in today's work society. It does not work. Ruling by an iron fist gets you nowhere. Nobody cares about that. Nobody respects that individual. It is going to be based on your actions. How do you treat people? What is your temperament? How do you handle conflict resolution? Do you run away from conflict? If you're like, I don't really care about all that, then you're not going to be a very ineffective leader. You're just going to be very ineffective. You're going to be a pussified leader. If you do not know how to handle conflict, man, I don't be sitting around here like starting conflict, but you got to be able to go squash it. Like, people might not want beef, but you need to go squash that beef. The smoke needs to get put out, or it will become a fire. You ignore it long enough, it's going to become an issue. That's the difference between a leader and somebody who's pretending to be one. Leader's going to deal with it. The one who's pretending to be it, the one who is manufactured, the one who is propped up, the one who was taught, trained by corporate to be a leader, that's how they're going to react most of the time. You're going to be spineless when it matters the most. Those people you don't win with them. You just don't win. And I mean, and there's too many instances like that in life where they just anoint leaders. People that have seen it since they were growing up. Well, we're going to anoint, little Timmy. He's going to be the captain of the football team. Little Timmy a bitch. How the hell he going to lead anybody? We don't even respect him. He's not even good. Now, sometimes you ain't got to be great, but I ain't going to lie, having skill matters. The most talented one, people will look at to lead them in most situations. If you're the best, they're going to look to you. Man, hey man, you going to help us get up out of this, dog? I know you know what to do, man. Hey, I'm just saying, half the machines in here don't work, dog. Do you know how to fix them? Because I don't know how to fix them, dog. And they said, we got to get these things back up and running. And if we don't get them back up and running, we don't get these loads taken care of, man, they going to get rid of me, dog. They going to fire me. And if they fire me, man, I can't buy no more weed. If I can't do that, man, then I want to just check out. That's how some people be acting. Stuff's crazy to me, man. I don't know. I see incompetent leadership everywhere I go. There's always, most places, it's just hard. It's hard to find a bunch of people who are actually qualified to be the leader, because most of the time somebody's going to take it because they like the salary. Most of them, not always going to be great. I've worked for just way too many terrible managers. Thank God I got away from pretty much all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of them got terminated because inevitably it caught up to them. Most of them, they got fired because they didn't know how to treat people. They didn't know how to talk to anybody. There's this notion that if you listen to your staff, you're a pussy. How? I'm trying to get the most up out of my team. I will listen. If they need some days off, we need to reconfigure the schedule. We need to do whatever it takes to make sure it works for them, especially if they're actually a valued asset on the team. If they ain't no good, man, then you know how it goes. You don't miss them. You just kind of push them up out the door slowly, and next thing you know, they end up quitting on their own a lot of times. But if they are valued, you find a way to make it work. Or if you don't really want to disrupt the apple cart, you just find a way to make it happen. Cater to your team. You will get more out of your team if you give them the assets and the things that they need than you will if you try to dictate every bit of their moves. If you micromanage them, they will not respect you. Yes, ultimately, you sometimes will get the results that you want, but ultimately, you're just going to be pissed off and you're not going to be revered by your peers. Nobody's going to show up to your funeral that way. It's going to be empty. Nobody out there holding flowers. Hell, they're going to have to hire some people to go pick up your casket and go put you in the ground. Because you know how to treat nobody. Is that really the way you want to go out? That's how most leaders are going to go out. Poor. Not respected. Not revered. Not liked. Not saying you need to be liked by everybody, because if you're liked by too many, you're probably not a great leader, but not necessarily. The greatest ones I've ever seen are respected by everyone. Yeah, you can have an off day or two, but overall, you need to know how to treat people. Say hello. Good morning. You can do the smallest things to just be like, you know what? I can at least stand to be around that person for a little bit. I'll help them out. They were kind. They were kind. A lot of people respond a lot more nowadays to kindness. This newer generation, the younger kids, the people who are in there, the young, like lower 20s and whatnot, they take kindness better. Being a douche does not get you the results you want. It will usually yield you a lot of pain and a lot more paperwork and a lot more time with HR. Nobody wants to spend time with HR because we already know where that leads. Once they start getting that documentation, they start writing you up a lot. Oh no. You might as well go ahead and get back on Indeed, LinkedIn, the new dating app. Yeah, figure that out. Leadership is crucial. Don't sign up to be a leader if you ain't really about it. That's the problem with today's society. Everywhere you go, they got poor management, they got poor coaches, they got poor people leading the youth. People aren't qualified. Like Aaron the plumber said, you ain't qualified. No, most of these leaders ain't qualified. Just flat out. And I don't know. This is the most random rant, but I was just thinking about that. Either way, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you soon. Peace.